All right, let's talk Florida Gators. This is a program that, again, very quietly is having one heck of an offseason. Billy Napier, his staff, this entire program has done a really solid job, and they've recently made another smart move that kind of slid under the radar, but it's part of a general trend we're seeing with Florida. Things going in the right direction organizationally for sure. We'll break down what has just happened, but first, I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, jumping right into the news, let's go ahead and pull this up and we can talk more about all of what it means on the other side. This is courtesy of Athlon Sports. The Florida Gators hire former Atlanta Falcons executive Nick Polk, who spent 17 seasons as the director of football operations for the Atlanta Falcons. In his time with Atlanta behind the scenes, Polk would see the Falcons reach the playoffs 7 times. While with Atlanta, Polk also participated in salary cap management, trade discussions, player contracts, and the drafting of Falcons franchise quarterback Matt Ryan. All right, so moves and hires like this, when you're looking at director of football operations, you're talking about a guy that gets the program or the franchise in the NFL example, everything aligned. It's like a COO in terms of a big corporation. Is he the big name? Is he the hyper salesman? Is he the guy who creates the genius products? No, but is he the glue guy that gets everyone heading the right direction? Absolutely. And I think that's exactly who the Florida Gators got here. They've got good coaches. They made some good moves there. Recruiting's going great. Now they got a guy to handle the operational side, to handle all the gaps that the coaching staff can't handle. Love this hire from the Florida Gators. Miles, I know you got a few thoughts on this specifically, but first, Florida fans in the comment section below. Look, obviously, this kind of hire right here, it doesn't really light you up the way some of the other moves Florida has made, but it's moves like this that really matter. But when we focus on the player additions, and there's been some good ones, what's one player you're really looking forward to see come spring ball more than anybody else, right? There's some freshmen into the fold, some transfers, maybe some young guys already on the roster ready to step up. Give us the one Florida Gator you're excited to see come spring ball. Put them in the comment section below. But Mize, what are your thoughts on this latest hire by the Florida Gators?
Yeah, Nick, I think this is a sneaky under the radar hire for the Gators in one specific way and one duty that he will have. He's going to be coming into director of football strategy, working closely with Florida's GM, Jacob LaFrance, and they're going to work on a new thing for the Gators. It's going to be a new revenue sharing model, talking about how they're going to work with the players. And with Polk's giant background in doing a lot of salary cap management for the NFL, it's something college teams have never really worked for. And they go on to talk about exactly what all this means. They're talking about the new NIL and how they do things, and just there's no rules, there's no structure to it. Everybody's just throwing money around, and they're trying to stop that. They're trying to kind of change the way that they allocate dollars and cents to players. I think this is a really smart move, getting things to be more of a contract, revenue share, marketing, endorsements, all of that money together in one place, and having a guy like Polk, who's very good at managing those things, be a big part of that. I think it's good. And Billy Napier goes on to talk about exactly what it's going to mean. And what is it going to mean? It's going to mean they're going to be able to retain more players. Because one thing we've seen all throughout this offseason is people are worried about players getting nabbed off spring practice, off the spring game, whatever the case may be. It is the Wild West out here. You bring in a top guy in your recruiting process, he gets grabbed if he doesn't get enough playing time. They're now trying to restructure everything to get guys lower down on the roster some more money to be able to keep them as well. I think this is a really interesting way that the Florida Gators are going about it. And that's why I think the hire of a guy like Polk is so important. He brings a huge background and knowledge of managing these kinds of situations. And if done correctly, I think this could put the Florida Gators in a much better place than a lot of other teams around the college football landscape are, if they can get a grasp on their NIL money and how to allocate it.
Yeah, there's two really aspects about this Polk hire that I really like. If you look at Polk's early career, he had an actual really big role in NFL Europe. For those of you who don't remember, the NFL used to have essentially minor league football in the spring where teams would contract out players, usually like fringe roster guys, to go out and play in Europe. about an 8 game, 10 game season, something like that at the major cities in Germany and England and things like that. And it was just kind of a cool experience, lost a lot of money. The NFL liked it, but it required a lot of logistics. It required a lot of recruiting and talent. You had to coordinate and know the areas of Europe that were very into football because a lot of the teams had to bring in some foreign guys, right? That was part of the deal. They'd bring in like 30 NFL guys and then hire some foreign guys, some German players, if they were in Germany, for example, to fill out the roster. I think Polk is a guy who knows the European landscape very, very well because of that. And we were starting to see a lot more quality prospects come out, mainly of Germany, but also England as well, that the United Kingdom, as potential guys that want to go play college football and later NFL. Keep an eye on that, right? That's an untapped market of potential NFL talent. Germany's becoming much, much more American football crazy. Polk has some special insights into there because of his time at NFL Europe. But you brought up the fact his relationships with NIL dollars. Polk began his career working with an organization called, I believe, Athletes First, which was about contracts negotiations, helping players, agents, and teams just get on the same page to get everyone aligned to get a deal so that way everyone is happy. So this is a guy in Polk who started his career working between players and organizations, working out the dollars to make sure everyone stays together. That's exactly what's going on in the NIL situation right now. You've got players getting competing bids all the time. You've got programs trying to keep players involved and make sure they don't transfer out. Polk is a guy who's worked in an organization whose literal job or literal business model was to keep both of those two parties together. I think that's going to be his primary task. I think his number one priority is to make sure, like you said, they don't lose guys in the transfer portal. And I think he can do an incredible job of that. Plus, it's a bonus that he's got that Europe connection. Don't undersell that. I really won't be surprised if Florida gets one or two really kind of interesting German recruits or something like that over the next half decade or so. But no matter how you look at this is just another solid hire. Again, not the sexiest name in the world. Most people may not even know who this guy is, but just another great job by his Florida Gators program, staffing up in all the right ways. Recruiting's been great. Transfer's been great. Quarterback position, checking the box there. There is nothing but momentum right now behind this Gators program.